I told you can't trust these. Now, Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
50 Cent went on stage last year and said this.
Maybe I said because you got Tupac.
You know, and I know, that everyone believes that Diddy was involved in both these shootings and had a direct involvement in your brother's death. That is what the streets have said for 27 years. That's why 50 Cent said it. That's why Eminem has said similar stuff. Would you be comfortable saying that you believe Diddy had nothing to do with it?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable saying that because I don't know. If you look at all the theories, the theory involving him is quite high on the list.
Ron, any comments? Any comments on the trial so far? The opening statement?
He's having his day.
He's having his day?
He's having his day. We trust the justice system.
Thank you, sir.
God is good.
Netflix's new docuseries delivers a bold and insightful look into Tupac Shakur's life and untimely death, going beyond blame to explore the era's tensions, cultural backdrop, and the ongoing public discussions where music mogul Sean Diddy Combs frequently comes up. By diving into the unanswered questions and historical context that keep the debate alive, the series offers viewers a sharper, more compelling perspective on one of hip-hop's most enduring and intriguing mysteries.
Which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah.
Combs, The Reckoning traces Sean Diddy Combs' rise as a hip-hop powerhouse, highlighting the career moves that shaped his legacy before recent controversies. The series explores his tense relationship with Tupac Shakur, remembered by Tupac's cousin William Lassane as increasingly strained, set against the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that defined the era. Interviews reveal the pressure, competition, and shifting alliances around the two icons, showing how it fueled decades of speculation. Revisiting the events leading to Tupac's 1996 Las Vegas death, the docuseries provides context without claiming answers, explaining why the mystery still fascinates.
Former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out.
William didn't hold back, describing the tension between the two artists as sharp and deeply rooted, noting that Diddy may have felt challenged by Tupac's rising influence and creative independence. He urges viewers to consider the broader context of the 1994 New York shooting, highlighting the chaos and uncertainty of the era rather than assigning blame, and questions how much anyone truly understood as events unfolded. Music veteran Gene Deal echoes this, pointing to the intense competitive pressure between the stars and suggesting the rivalry added to an already volatile period in hip-hop history.
Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I get around, talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, all right, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with?
Alongside Williams' insights, Tupac's brother Mopreme emphasizes that the circumstances of Tupac's death still demand closer scrutiny. He stresses that every angle should be examined carefully, including the wider environment and the many figures involved during that turbulent time, to help build a clearer and more complete understanding of the truth.
Comment saying that you want to see how serious the Vegas PD is going to take this case because Keefe D is people that he name dropped that you want to see if they're going to investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm curious to see how they plan to deal with the case, because he, in his own admissions, mentions other people. You know, are they going to say what happened to these people? Yes, Puffy being one of them. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I do believe there were accomplices, and I don't think all of them have been looked at. So, you know, because over the years, you know, it's a lot of years, you know, amongst the family, we talk, we want to figure it out too. We thinking certain things too. So, you know, we're waiting to see if we can trust this process. I feel like it's bigger because I haven't heard anything about that part of the story from the prosecutor's office. I haven't heard anything about Puffy from the prosecutor's office, even though Keefe D implicates him on these videos that they claim they're using to indict him. Even you got a Crip affiliate from somewhere, but you still not gonna talk about the guy that he mentions by name on the thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's exhausting. You know, or you know, I'm waiting to see how far they go, because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's talking about. What about Puffy? You know, so it would be weird that the prosecutor's office wouldn't know and address it. That's why I don't know whether to trust this shit or not.
He later revealed that in Tupac's final moments, his brother appeared to be struggling to say something important, a memory that has stayed with him ever since and continues to fuel his determination to uncover the truth about what really happened.
Tupac condition, because you got so many conflicting stories, right? You got some people that say that, you know, Tupac was moving in the hospital, he was, you know, talking in the hospital, but you being there, from your point of view, how was Tupac condition?
By the time I got there, remember I was coming from LA. So by the time I got there, he had tubes in his throat, in his nose, in his mouth. So he ain't talk to me, not verbally. He was conscious. He was trying to talk. He did want to talk, but he didn't actually verbalize any words. I always, you know, that's one of my, gonna be one of the biggest mysteries in my life, because he was trying to tell me something. He was trying so hard. He was shaking the bed. He was looking at me, you know, with his big old eyes, you know, and I know he was trying to tell me something, but I don't know.
Something else I want to ask you, because I think it would be appropriate before we get off the Vegas thing, last thing, because I know I did an interview with Napoleon, and they all gave me their reasons why Afeni pulled the plug because of his condition, but I mean, it would be more appropriate since you was his brother. Afeni, her decision to pull the plug on him, from your point of view, what made her pull the plug? Respectfully.
Because he had already flatlined a couple of times. And she didn't want him to keep going through that. So I think it was like twice before she, you know, let him go. And that's reasonable. You know what I mean? When I was, you know, when I found out, you know, I could live with it.
Kirk Burroughs, formerly of Bad Boy, reflected that the tension between Tupac and Diddy shaped much of the era's chaos. William noted that as Diddy boosted Biggie's rise, Tupac pursued his own path, and their differing ambitions created a competitive, tense atmosphere. This tension framed Tupac's 1994 Quad Studios attack, a moment still heavily analyzed, though authorities never linked Diddy or Biggie to it. Tupac's own reflections fueled ongoing debate, while Diddy has denied involvement. Music veteran Gene Deal views the incident as part of the intense rivalries of the time. The series uses these perspectives to show how ambition, competition, and loyalty defined one of hip-hop's most scrutinized chapters.
Puffy knew Tupac was going to get robbed at Quad Studios?
Well, I don't think I'm not going to say he knew exactly he was going to get robbed, but he knew he was going to get dealt with. Because he was up there with Andre Harrell, and he was with Jimmy Henchman. And even though I think Pac may have owed Jimmy some money, or he was being disrespectful with Jimmy, and Jimmy ain't the type of dude that you was going to be disrespectful for, because he had some real wolves. And Jimmy was about it himself. You know what I mean? So now, in that essence, Puff is up there in the office with him. They know they about to deal with Pac. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the extent that Jimmy told him what they was going to do to Pac, or he's going to get dealt with or whatever like that. But I know Puff had a whip the wall.
In 2011, Dexter Isaac publicly claimed involvement in the 1994 Quad Studios attack, saying he acted on directions from a music industry figure linked to the incident. His account added another layer to the enduring mystery, though, like many others, it remains unverified and contributes to the broader mix of claims, memories, and speculation surrounding the case. The episode highlights just how complex and hotly debated this chapter of hip-hop history has become.
You know that he had another bracelet that was like a bicycle chain with charms on it, right? Just gonna say that, all right? He had the diamond chain on with the chain with diamonds at each length going through it, right? He had a big stone on the diamond ring and a smaller stone, one for 35,000 and the one for 20,000. All right, so even Stretch that did this shit, I took his bracelet too, yeah, and changed it and put his name, my man's name on it, and took off the name on it. So motherfuckers claiming that this. Even
so hold on, homie.
Claimed that he was Tupac's stepdaddy. Wrote me and wanted me to have my people meet him and give him back the chain and shit. Talk about some redemption. You know, them niggas ain't man.
So hold on, hey Dex. So that day that happened, November 30th, 1994, it wasn't just Tupac and Freddie Nichols. Stretch was with them too?
Stretch was with them too, yeah. Stretch set the whole shit up. He was in cahoots. He was giving us play-by-play where they was at. On their way there, he was in communication with Jimmy and shit. You know, Jimmy promised them two big eggs and shit.
Wow, so he sold Pac out for a quarter brick, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And
Killboy too.
Wow. Yeah.
Jimmy Henchman, meanwhile, strongly denied any involvement, insisting he had no connection to the Quad Studios incident. His denial adds another layer to the conflicting accounts, underscoring how much of this chapter in hip-hop history remains shrouded in uncertainty and continued debate.
There was a big frame picture, photograph on one of your walls, and it had Tupac on it wearing a Henchman Entertainment t-shirt. Now, a few years ago, there was a guy named Dexter Isaac that came forward who claimed that you were connected to the Tupac shooting. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, 100%. I've never ducked from answering any Tupac questions. I could understand if I don't know how Quad Studio morphed into, like I was in Vegas and was part of the shooters that actually ended in his demise. Now, let me say, me and Tupac were friends. And me and him were friends. I had nothing against Tupac. I liked him. He was younger than me. I'm sure that he looked up to me. There's many moments that me and Pac had that were very intimate, where he talked to me about things that he was afraid of, or things that he loved to do, and all of those kind of things. Here it is, you have a prosecutor, and you have a guy who's in jail for life. When they pulled Dexter down to interview him in regards to what he knew about me and Tupac and so on and so forth. I have no doubt at this point that Dexter probably was the guy or one of the assailants on Tupac. But Dexter's story just doesn't make sense. Dexter tells a story that I wanted a ring for my fiance, and so I tell him to get a diamond ring from Tupac so I can give it to my fiance, and so on and so forth. He tells this magical story. The only person that can believe such a story is Todd Kaminsky, who was the prosecutor who was trying to make something out of nothing.
Jimmy Henchman, meanwhile, firmly denied any involvement, insisting he had no connection to the Quad Studios incident. His statement adds another layer to the conflicting narratives, highlighting just how much of this chapter in hip-hop history remains steeped in uncertainty and ongoing debate.
And just to make it clear, man, when Puffy came to LA, you used to give him protection, right? From the Southside Crips because he was scared of Suge Knight?
It speaks for itself, my brother. He was playing chess, and I guess we was playing checkers, cuz.
So he was really scared of Suge Knight like that, yo?
That's what it looked. That's what it sounded like. Yeah. Yeah.
Keith D described feeling terrified as tensions escalated, noting that the feud between Tupac and his rivals intensified after the release of Hit 'Em Up. He recalled an atmosphere that was highly charged and volatile, with conversations reflecting the immense pressures and stakes of the era. The documentary uses his recollections to show just how competitive and combustible hip-hop had become, highlighting the fear, rivalry, and unrest surrounding some of its biggest figures.
Right. Can you talk about that? Yeah, so there's, Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions. But most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there. Things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare of his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. Tupac's on vinyl talking about killing all of our kids when they grow up. And, it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money. And they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Well, before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about from Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, now I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. It's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's the agreement amount was $1 million. So
according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge or Tupac?
Both. Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge, because it was Suge's muscle that...
Beyond the controversies around Tupac, Diddy has long been at the center of speculation and rumor tied to other high-profile moments in hip-hop, reflecting the intense scrutiny and fascination that have followed him throughout his career. The documentary explores how these stories, true or not, helped fuel the era's atmosphere of tension, competition, and intrigue.
Diddy paid him $1 million to try to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. Investigators early on already zeroed in on Keefe D because he is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, who was the main suspect in Tupac's unaliving. During this time, they believe that Keefe D was also in Vegas, and this is things that we have heard him say over the years in his multiple interviews, and one reason why he's on trial for the unaliving of Tupac. But then investigators really started to get curious when they found out that Keefe D was at the Peterson Museum the night that Biggie was unalived. Back in 1997, at the height of this investigation, police actually raided Keefe D's house for gang activity, and they seized one of the vehicles that were at his house because it matched the Chevy Impala description of the person who drove away after Biggie was unalived.
Keefe D was a shot caller for the Southside Crips and the uncle of Orlando Anderson. It was determined that Keefe D had been in Las Vegas along with his nephew Orlando the night Tupac was shot. Additionally, Keefe D's name had come up in the original Biggie investigation when it was discovered that he was at the party at the Peterson and he had access to a Chevy Impala.
After Tupac was shot, there was rumors on the street that Bad Boy Records owed the Southside Crips $1 million.
After seizing Keefe D's vehicle and raiding his house for gang activity, this is when investigators would first try to question Keefe D if he had any involvement in Biggie's unaliving. And at this point in time, he really didn't talk, and he told them that they were barking up the...
Kirk Burroughs recalled the unusual circumstances on the night Tupac was shot, including the group's separate travel plans to the Mike Tyson fight, which added another layer to an already chaotic evening. The series also highlights Keefe D's recollections of what followed, while noting that Diddy has always denied involvement and was never considered a suspect by Las Vegas authorities. Beyond that night's events, the documentary examines the deep tensions and rivalries shaping Tupac and Diddy's relationship, capturing the mix of ambition, conflict, and scrutiny that kept the hip-hop world on edge and continues to drive discussion decades later.
That's a similar story to what I heard from somebody that I know is not, I know she's not lying because she had no reason to lie. First, she told me she saw somebody doing something to him, and she walked in and she thought, he didn't, he never said nothing. He didn't even acknowledge her. So she's thinking she's under the radar. Next thing, she's hanging out in Miami, and, she comes back and says she don't know what happened, and she woke up, and so,
What did she say she saw?
Someone giving him head. That's as far as I'll go, and then you could do the math.
Were they famous? Did she say they were famous?
Oh, no, they wasn't famous. They was an assistant working with her. Yeah. So.
An assistant. I want to guess, but I'm not.
She didn't tell me who no, it's not somebody that you would know. It was somebody that, she came there. She worked doing photography and, some type of media work where they shot ads and things like that. They were there to work, and she walked in the wrong bathroom and caught the wrong thing.
Oh, wow.
So, if she got drugged, it probably was some videotapes made to tell her to shut the hell up and don't repeat what she...
Tupac's death isn't the only focus of the documentary. It also explores Diddy's relationship with Biggie, questioning how genuine or straightforward that connection really was. Those close to the artist reveal a far more complex reality than public appearances suggested, exposing the intricate mix of loyalty, ambition, and tension that defined one of hip-hop's most famous partnerships.